What's up, Bree Hive? Happy Tuesday. Do you have an outfit that you're ready to wear to the living room for Thanksgiving? Because we getting cute, okay? I'm ready to look cute in my fit as well. But first, we have another dope episode of my show, Truth Talk. So head over to Fox Soul right now. Go click over right now on YouTube, and you can watch us at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. Actually every Monday through Friday, but watch us right now. So go to Fox Soul on YouTube, click the live button, and you can watch us live. Today, we are dedicating a whole episode to all the Diddy fiascos, okay? We're gonna break it down and give you a little inside tea and the latest in the case. Is he intimidating witnesses? You just gotta find out right here. So don't go nowhere. We about to go live. Actually, go to YouTube, okay? That's where we going. In five, four, three, two, one.
And what's up, everybody? I'm Ryan Cameron, syndicated host out of Atlanta. But as always, you can catch me right here 5 nights live on Fox Soul on Truth Talks. We're back with another great episode, and we got a lot to talk about in pop culture as well as politics. But first, let me hit you with my truth of venues. First off, we got Dr. Cheyenne Bryant.
What's up, y'all? It's Dr. B, your favorite doc. And listen, y'all know what it is. Psychology expert, life coach, NAACP president, best-selling author. My book is coming out soon, my second one. But what's most important is I'm here with my Truth Talks family. And y'all know we're going to talk about some Diddy stuff, some lot of stuff, and we want to hear the stuff that you have to say. So drop some comments down in the comments, all right? Let's rock and roll, y'all.
Next up, we got Willie Moore Jr.
Hey, Willie Moore Jr. here. I'm adorable and I can swing my legs. That's the difference between me and your guy. Come on, somebody. Just excited about the opportunity to hang out here at Truth Talks. Just in case you didn't know, Willie Moore Jr. got a TV show. And tonight we're talking all about Diddy. And I just believe by faith that you're going to get something from this that you'll make sure you don't get yourself in no fiascos. Take notes, him. Flat out.
And your favorite millennial's favorite millennial,
Come on.
Bree Renee. You got to tell them who you are.
Hey y'all, what's up? I go by Bree Renee straight from the A, in case you ain't know. I am not only an ATLian, but I'm also a radio television personality, influencer, YouTuber, and I'm entrepreneur. I wear whatever hats get the job done, okay? And most importantly, I'm a truth teller. So today I'm sitting right here with my lovely co-host on Truth Talks.
I kind of felt like you did you David Ruffin and We the Temptations just did. I just kind of felt like I was the Temptation.
I'm sitting here with y'all on Truth Talks.
But listen, Truth Talks is that show that says all the things you were thinking from pop culture to politics, but we do it from a perspective that voices our community. But we also like to have a whole lot of fun. Like, this is the hour after happy hour when you feeling real good and you ready to just let it all out with your BFF. What I want you to start thinking of us when you see us, like, they're my partners. They're my BFFs. So let's get into it with today's hot topics on Trending Truth. Check this out. Let's get it.
Okay, so Simone Biles has another job to add to her resume. She's joining NBC's The Voice as a playoff advisor for Team Snoop Dogg. In a recent interview, Biles said that she and Snoop Dogg were a gold medal deserving duo, but some fans are excited and others are just plain old baffled by the decision to have Simone Biles as an advisor on the show. One user wrote, "She's amazing, but no offense, she's not a singer and can help them in the ways that they need it." Now, is this a stretch, making Simone Biles a playoff advisor on The Voice, or is this a good move? What do y'all think?
I mean, listen, Simone is that chick when it comes to gymnastic, right? Like, she's gold, 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 gold. But, I mean, like, does she have anything to do with singing, or does she know how? And is she even judging them on singing, or is she just a judge for maybe other aspects of the show? I don't think when it comes to singing, that's her lane.
It's not her lane, but I am always for switching lanes. So me personally, like, I've always wanted, me and Willie joke about it all the time, I always wanted to be an artist and musician. So y'all might see me on The Voice one day.
Okay.
So I want y'all to support me as well, because I believe you can do anything you put your mind to, especially if you got a little practice or a little coaching or guidance. And like you said, I don't think she's really judging them off their singing though.
Bree, we're gonna give you your little audition right now. You ready? Can you sing? Let's get it.
Me, 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 me.
me.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen,
That's all you're giving.
But hey, another thing about it, what Snoop was saying is that because of all the challenges that Simone had mentally, remember she walked away from the Olympics and came back, that she was going to help the people who were on The Voice with the pressures of all of a sudden going from being nobody to all of the people in the world knowing your name and your fame. So that's kind of why he decided to bring her on. Not exactly for her talent or her ability to sing, but her ability to help these people adapt to the pressure. And I applaud that.
I like that as well. And we got to applaud not only Simone, but congratulations to Kendrick Lamar. He surprised his fans and dropped a new album called GNX, which features 12 new tracks and his hit song, of course, They Not Like Us. They not like us. They not like us. Which is nominated for a Grammy. This was definitely Kendrick's year, and next year will also be a big year for Kendrick because you also know he's performing for the 2025 halftime show of the Super Bowl.
indeed, congratulations to Kendrick. Although Lamar is basking in his win, my dear brother Lil Wayne a little unhappy and really confused about Kendrick mentioning his name in the track. His opening track is called Whacked Out Murals, and the lyric is, used to bump the Carter 3. I held my Rolly chain proud. Irony. I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down. So then Lil Wayne responded to the lyric on X as he tweeted, man, WTF, what the I do, huh? I just be chilling and they still come from my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep. I beg you all. No one really wants destruction, not even me, but I shall destroy if disturbed. Now, is this a misunderstanding, or do you think this is like beef? But I think they both vegetarians.
Yeah, I think that it is a misunderstanding. I think Wayne is taking it out of context. And I will tell y'all, Lil Wayne is my favorite rapper of all time. Like, nobody can compare to Wayne at all in that booth, not even Kendrick. But I think that, you know, he took a little slight to not being the Super Bowl halftime performer for New Orleans, which makes sense. I get it. But Wayne, you got to understand, Kendrick, it's his time now. Everybody has their time, and it's Kendrick's time now. So I think he's in his feelings a little bit about it, and I don't even think Kendrick meant any bad blood by the lyric. To me, it sounded like, dang, I worked so hard, and now I'm getting this recognition, and now my great, who I looked up to, is kind of disappointed or mad because I got chosen over him. I don't feel like it was like, you know, got beef with me. I don't think Kendrick was starting.
I kind of feel like Lil Wayne was using the first law, the 48 law of the power, which is, baby, don't outshine the master. And sometimes people think they the master when they're not the master. And I'm not saying Lil Wayne isn't. And so sometimes when the master, whether they are or they not, feels like they're being outshined, you get that type of response. Now, I believe Lil Wayne is an OG and a legend. He obviously came before Kendrick. And I think Kendrick was saying, yo, dog, like, you know, my greatness as a little G seems like it's upsetting you, the big G. That's how I looked at it, because Kendrick is from my city, Los Angeles, Compton, and he's a very respectful guy. So he's not really a battle type of guy to disrespect unless it's like a Drake situation where they're going at it.
I don't think it. I think that today all the rappers are just sensitive. I mean, you know, they're very upset. You see Drake trying to be upset because of Not Like Us and saying, you know, suing and saying that they inflated the numbers. I mean, you know.
Nah, we had that on repeat, Drake. Ain't nobody inflate them numbers.
Just take the L.
Yeah.
You can't take the L when you're a rapper. It's unethical. It goes against all rap street credibility.
Yeah, beef come with the territory when
Come
you are
on,
artist.
this hip-hop. You say my name.
It's
on.
That's why No Vaseline is the greatest diss song of all times, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's why I quit rapping like that. Because you can't wear shorts like these and rap and be tough. It just don't work.
Loving them shorts today.
Yeah, praise the Lord.
Shorts.
Yeah, come on, little shorts. Come on,
Loving the shorts.
But listen, Mael Organic CEO Monique Rodriguez posted a video over the weekend and exposes how influencers were being paid commission to spread false information about the product. Now, over the past few months, Mael Organics has been the center of a major hair loss controversy.
Yeah, allegations have circulated that the popular hair care brand has altered the formula of its products, resulting in hair loss and extreme damage. Well, Monique has spoken out again in a recent post, and she shared a very important message stating that her team had discovered that the original creator who made these claims against Mayel was paid by competitors to make the false allegations. Do y'all feel like Monique should let it go and move on, or does bringing up the controversy actually help her or hurt her business?
I mean, I think that if somebody's, putting out a false narrative, which is defamation of a business, I think she should not only speak on it, I think she should sue them. That's how I look at it. I play hardball, so if we gonna play, let's play.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? If it's true. But at the same time, if it's not, you gotta fall back, because that is a lawsuit. And people and competitors do pay people to do things like this because they know that bloggers will pick it up and bloggers make money off this information. But it is very illegal and unethical to push out a false narrative.
Yeah, honestly, I am a user of Mayel's products, and as a black woman, I think that it was formulated for us. Obviously, she's a black woman, and she says she started the brand also not only for herself, for her children, but it took a big, and I think the competitor created these narratives once the other ethnicities started to use her products, because it went on once they got to TikTok, even white people were buying out Mayel, and they were running up the numbers and everything. And I was thinking, I don't think that's made for their hair type. So I thought originally when all these claims came out about the hair loss, I was like, maybe that's with different textures of hair, like white people or thinner, silkier hair probably can't handle that much oil. So that's why I thought that the hair loss came from. But now it does make sense. Like you said, a competitor.
I've seen black women say, "No, my hair fell out too," and counter what she was saying.
That stressed.
But then a lot of times when you're merging a product and it becomes a bigger product and somebody takes it over, they go back and say, we got to change these ingredients because they're very expensive, and they doctor the formula a little bit, and then sometimes things happen. I mean, for her to make 2 videos. There's got to be some smoke there somewhere, y'all.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a bad batch.
McDonald's is McDonald's because they were able to keep the consistency with their business no matter what the restaurant looked like. I think it's so important when you become a CEO and you expand and you're able to do what you do, you got to make sure that people keep the formula. And that's why you got to over micromanage in the incubator stages of expansion to make sure people understand who you are, what you represent, and what your product is.
You're right.
As they said, they got McDonald's, we got McDonald's. Coming up, Donald Trump's presidential immunity just kicked in, and he can kiss all of his legal troubles goodbye, just like we predicted right here on Truth Talks when we come back.
There you go.
You heard it here first.
We told you it's going to happen.
Yeah.
He qualified immune his own self on every charge.
And welcome back to Truth Talks. We got a lot to discuss in the entertainment world tonight. But first, let's get into the latest political news.
Now, a judge agreed to dismiss Donald Trump's 2020 election interference case. Now, special counsel Jack Smith have filed motions to drop all federal charges regarding his mishandling of classified documents in his effort to overturn the 2020 presidential election in the lead up to the deadly January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol by all of those unique people.
Now, this dismissal marks a huge historic moment. It means the Justice Department's long-standing position that a sitting president cannot be charged with a crime will apply to Trump once he takes office. And this will definitely influence other prosecutions of Trump. Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis has pledged to go ahead, but the appeals court abruptly canceled all of the oral arguments. So does Fonnie's case against Trump look shaky post-election?
Absolutely. I think that now Trump definitely did everything he could do to clear his slate and wipe his slate clean on all costs. So I think like we said in previous episodes, I believe we already discussed that a little bit, like Fannie should probably just gracefully bow out for her own safety and sanity, because fighting with this man is going to take you down a long, deep rabbit hole I don't think you want to go down.
Yeah, I just think that if Fannie don't have a team that's going to fan everybody up out of that thing, she needs to fan herself backpedaling. I agree. I just think that Trump is too big of a monster without being in office. You put him in office, I feel like he's like the double, triple power. Or maybe Fannie can figure out how to, I don't know, negotiate with Trump outside of the courts. But my thing is, I personally would just have to do the pros and cons and back up out of there if it didn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, he has the power to basically kill her political career
Come on
Yeah.
now.
from this point on. And by the fact that she's trying to stand on business and say, I'm going to continue
Yeah.
to do this.
Yeah.
Once that man gets in office, he's already told you that he keeps receipts and he holds vendettas and he holds grudges. So, you know, if you got people that are resigning before he gets in office because they know what's about to happen. So, you know, and she's been getting death threats and everything else too. So I don't know. I don't think she should pursue it.
But when do we get to the point and realize, like, hey, man, somebody gonna have to stand up. So whether it's Fannie or somebody else, if you allow this type of behavior to continue, at some point, somebody's gonna have to say, hey, man, like, I'm willing to die about this, right? Like, my daddy always taught me that, hey, man, if you ain't willing to die about something, you ain't got no reason to live. So I'm just saying, Martin Luther King didn't think that way. Like, when are we gonna, you know, stand up a little
But
bit?
with the immunity that he's given himself, technically, he can have her wiped out and killed.
Right.
And he will not be going to jail criminalized for that.
But can he do that to someone else? Over
He could do
something else
that.
too?
He could do that to
So
Biden
everybody's
if he
supposed to
wants
walk on pins and needles
I'm not
because of
saying
his
they
power.
should, but to Ryan's point, if she wants to have a political career and
Or
be
her
alive,
life.
I'm saying that's what I mean, alive, to have a political or just alive, I think she has to double think it or be strategic.
Yeah.
Be strategic. That's the answer I
Be
was waiting
strategic,
for.
yeah.
Like, who's going to be
So what is the
strategic enough to
strategy?
make it work? Well, that's between them, because I didn't put no case on it,
Right.
okay?
I didn't put no
But I
case.
just know that there has to be an opportunity to, like, what I've been seeing in the last, what we at, 4 weeks now?
Yeah.
4.5, 5 weeks? I've just been seeing a lot of people resigning, walking in a whole lot of fear, and I think it's a beautiful opportunity for somebody to come up with a strategy and say, hey, man, we got to speak truth to power. And it doesn't have to be mean. It ain't got to be obnoxious. It ain't got to be crazy.
And I don't-
It just has
yeah.
to be strategic.
But what-
Well, I've seen this happen before where people believe that they can do something and get away with it. There was a former political mayor in another town, and he was ditching his security detail, you know, because he wanted to go out and do his little thing, right? And basically he'll go one way and go another way and just get rid of the security detail. So one day he's over somebody's house, and all of a sudden they just bust in the door, they snatch him up, put him in the back of a van, and it's the FBI like, listen, bro, you cannot do this. And this is what the government is trying to show you. You think you can get away with this? Well, my point is, if something were to inconveniently happen to somebody who is going against this man, who would be surprised?
Yeah.
And I think to your point, I don't think that, I think timing is everything.
Yeah.
I think that just because she pulls out now and doesn't do anything doesn't mean that she can't circle the block, because there is a 10-year statute of limitation. So technically she got some years where she can hold up to see what he does or how he falls short and be strategic at it. You know, me and my 48 laws of power, but be strategic at it and say, let me find out where his weaknesses are. Let me find out where the power is and where it's not. And if she's smart, she can plan that thing out so good and wait till the time is right, and bingo.
But you always talk about allies, Doc. You always talk about who is Defani Willis' ally. Is she out there on an island by herself? Because if she is, then she's going to find herself in a lot of trouble. Because if there's not a whole bunch of people that are standing up saying, we are with you, they're not on the White House steps saying, do whatever you need to do, then it's going to be an issue.
I don't think she has any allies. I think at this point, everyone is afraid. They're walking on eggshells because, I mean, what kind of messed up country do we live in when it's a convicted felon, not only elected as presidency, but as a president, but also can give himself immunity? Like, I'm a felon, and I'm going to tell you that everything I do gets wiped clean. Like, that's crazy. I
And
think
I'm gonna
that's
run for office and get in.
Yeah, and I think that's impossible to beat. Like, he literally beat the system. If anybody beat the system, Trump beat the system.
No,
So-
Trump is the system at this
Yeah.
point.
No,
he
for
is
sure.
the system.
He's recreating
He
his own
created it.
system.
He created
So
the
I
rules
think-
so he could break them.
I think everybody is afraid to be on that side of Trump. They want to stick to it because we don't even know, like you said, the most dangerous person is somebody who has no conscience and no counsel.
That's right.
And that's who Trump is right now.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you now. I know we all see the bad, the ugly, and the tough, but I have to commend that administration for running the campaign on their own merits, and they won how they were, so we didn't expect a change. Like, a lot of times when people run, they put this face on, and they song and dance, and then they get in, and they do nothing. Well, he told you who he was when he came in, and he's staying true to every word
He sure
that
is.
he said he's
And-
going to
and
do,
today he
so
got
I can
on.
respect that and make adjustments.
And today he got on national TV and said, this country was built by black people. Did y'all hear it? He said this country was built on the backs of the African Americans.
That's the
He
truth.
said it. It is going viral on social media. That's exactly what
So
he
does
said.
that mean we get reparations?
Listen, I didn't hear that
No.
part, but I did hear him say that, and I was like, okay, Trump, where are you going with this?
Man, you know
But that's
what?
the truth, though.
No, yeah, but
Yeah.
he said it, though. He didn't say it sarcastically. He said it.
All right, so up next, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to get into everything Diddy. And
Yeah.
so, you know, I know that some of us had Diddy encounters, some of us have not met him, but we've all seen him on TV. We saw him making the band, we saw him making people walk for cheesecake and all those other kind of things. So are y'all ready to go deep dive
Do you
in
think-
the
Pause.
Well, you think Trump
Pause.
gonna
We don't
do
want to
Diddy?
deep dive.
Don't, we
into
not
Diddy
deep
now.
diving in no Diddy nothing.
No, Diddy, nothing.
I thought that's where you was going,
Wait,
man.
do y'all think Trump would pardon Diddy?
They are friends.
That's why I'm asking, because there are friends. There is an allyship there.
All right.
New York.
So when we come back, our insider's perspective. You know, I've known Puff for 20 plus years. You don't want to miss what we're going to talk about when we come back on Truth Talks.
20 years.
And welcome back to Truth Talks. I've known Puff, Diddy, Love, all them names for Puff Daddy, you know, 20 years. I've interviewed him through all the name changes. And basically, you know, when records were dropping and starting careers, and, you know, we talked about a lot of different things. So, you know, I have a history with P. Diddy and Puff Daddy. But one of the things that I always was, baffled by was you never knew which Diddy you was gonna meet. Because the personality changed. You know, sometimes he was very warm and open, and other times you know what was going on and what inspired him to act the way that he did, you know. So we're gonna give you our opinions straight from our experiences with Diddy. First, you know, let me ask my Truth Avengers. Have y'all met or dealt with Diddy in your travels?
So I have not met with him, but a couple weeks before he ended up getting picked up and going to jail, his team did reach out to me and ask me if I would be willing to have sessions with him and Carisha. And I was like, well, on or off camera? Because I wasn't willing to do it on camera.
Right.
I was only willing to do it off camera. And they're like, no, doc, we want this to be completely off camera. And I was like, absolutely. And so we were waiting to set a date and time when it would be convenient for him and Carisha, because Carisha was in a different location than him. And sure enough, he got picked up. So I mean, I would have loved to help them, but I also believe in God's timing. I think that God said, nope, keep your butt out of this, because in the event that you did see him for even one session, if the court would have subpoenaed me, I would have been on record and been involved with the case.
Ooh, that's
So I'm so happy.
nasty
I'm
work.
so happy that, you know, and I would have loved, look, I'm here to help anybody. I'm not here to be
Right.
biased or judge, but I also love when God says, pivot, that ain't it. You know, pivot, that ain't it.
Yeah, I actually used to work for Revolt, which is, you know, Diddy used to have involvement with. But I met him briefly for a picture at InvestFest last year. Was that last year? I think it was the last year he was, year before when he was at InvestFest. So literally he's walking through the crowd, meeting everybody. And I'm like, hey, I'm Bree Renee from Black Girl Stuff. And he was like, oh, let's get a pic. And we all, me and the castmates, took a pic. And that was literally the only time I ever met him. But I loved working with Revolt. And I definitely saw the difference in the company when he was no longer involved. And he was very like pro artists, pro young people, pro entertainment. And so I think that him not being involved kind of shifted the company's culture.
Yeah.
In a good way or a bad way? I'm sorry.
I would say less artists, less entertainment after Diddy left.
So that would be
Bad. To me, bad.
Okay, got
It
it.
was.
You an artist.
Yeah, I'm an artist and entertainer, so I feel like he was very pro. Even though we never met and it wasn't for us personally, he was pro entertainment, pro and young. He was really in touch with what the young people wanted, and then it was like after that, it was like kind of who making these decisions? Like, you know, it wasn't as youthful, it wasn't as hip, it wasn't as in touch. It was very kind of out of touch. So I think that he is a genius at what he does. I can often separate the man personal from the artist. So for me, I think that's what we have to do, especially in entertainment, separate who they are in their personal lives from what they do in professional.
Yeah.
And I think that he's a great person at what he did. He's created opportunities not only for me, but hundreds of thousands at this point, probably in his career, of other Black entertainers.
Yeah. Never met Diddy. However, I did get the opportunity to work with a lot of his artists, because we all worked in New York. My first album was done at the Right Track. Mixed down there at the Right Track, and we worked out at the Right Track, so a lot of his artists would come through. And I've heard mixed stories. You know, one of the artists who was featured on one of the bigger songs, he was like, oh, Diddy the devil, you know what I mean? And he would say that. But then I just had the opportunity to sit down with Q Parker from 112, and literally he was in tears during our interview, and he just said, you know what, like, despite of what people may have thought he done or whatever he did, none of that has ever happened to me, but that man changed my life.
Yeah.
Like he changed everything about my life. He changed the trajectory of my life. He gave me an opportunity, and it was just so hard for him to see him go through all of that and nobody come up and at least talk about some of the great things that he was able to do for them. And he was just like, I'm just not that type of guy. Until it is proven in the court of law, then I think we got to do something about it. So him and I, you know, we had a moment, and it was just really good to see him step up.
I agree, and that's why I will always say, like, I was never involved or saw what he did behind closed doors, but the way he ran that company, and you know, black companies get a lot of slack. You know, they always want to say, well, black-owned business, this black, we get the harsh critic, but that was a very well-ran black-owned company, so I have to give him his props for that.
I think one of the things that, you know, Puff was always very strategic about was controlling the narrative.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's one thing he can't do now while being incarcerated. He cannot control the narrative. I remember when I was doing the first hip hop show in the mornings on 97.5 here in Atlanta. We got to work early in the morning show, and they kept saying, Diddy, Puffy is calling the back line. He keeps calling the back line. He said, call him, no matter what time it is, And we might have had like a 40 share, which right now is like on the Super Bowl numbers. We were like dominating the whole market, right? And so we kept calling, and he was in some hotel, and they would never pick up the phone. But I was like, no, he's keep insisting that I keep calling. So they finally knocked on the door. He got on the phone, and he was like, man, whatever you do, don't tell your Ryan report that I'm in blah, 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 blah with J-Lo, because Kim Porter, he was still dating her at the same time, and everybody listened to the show. And he knew that she was gonna hear that show and all hell was gonna break loose.
Dang, Ryan, you had to drop on
we was doing the real
Ryan,
big.
don't
The
be
bad
Ryan,
news
don't tell all,
is,
Ryan.
the bad news is we wasn't even gonna do the story.
That's so funny.
So he was just so adamant because he thought of what was going to happen, because, like I said, he always wanted to control the narrative. And I think that's, even with all these 3 failed bail attempts and him trying to get out of jail and now trying to say, put me in this penthouse and I'll wear an ankle monitor and my kids will sign off. He cannot control the narrative. And I think for a person who has, to your point, Bree, has had so much power and influence, it's a new world that he's never experienced before.
Yeah. It's hard to watch the Giants fall.
Yeah.
It is. Like in my generation, like I said, he was a giant. He's been on television and controlling hip hop for a very long time. So it's really hard. And I think for my generation too, to see all of the guys that we looked up to be taken down. You know, they talk about even Jay-Z being next. It's like, wow, Jay-Z was everybody's daddy. He raised more black
No,
men.
hell no, he was your daddy.
I'm
He
saying
was
not my
my
daddy,
Yeah.
but he
Not
raised.
mine.
I know black men look at these men in such a high regard more than they do, because a lot of them did not have fathers. So hip hop raised us.
I see your point.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's hard to watch them fall.
Well, Diddy has always been the type of guy who, when he walks into the room, his personality is very, very strong, very determined, and he presents with this invincible attitude. Clearly, that has helped him achieve this superstar status. But with all that bravado that help him, will that help him in prison while he's awaiting trial? Take a look at this clip.
Weekend of the 14th when the soundtrack comes
It's my
out.
favorite clip.
If so, bump somebody. All right, thanks. All right, love you, man. Bye. I got my MTV out. I'm a savage!
Go crazy.
Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Talk it.
Yes!
Whatever.
What's next?
Woo.
What's next? I gotta get it. I'm not gonna stay.
I'm not gonna stay.
I'm not gonna stay lying down. I'm not. I can't do it, man.
Man.
I can't do that. What's next? Give me something else. What can't you do? I can do it. I can do anything.
Yes. I don't care, y'all. I
love that.
I love that clip.
Yeah,
though.
well, that's why he's in the trouble he's
That
in now,
is-
because of
it
that
is what it
mentality.
is.
No.
Because if you got somebody who thinks that they can manipulate things and do whatever they want to do,
That's
no
not
matter
what
what the
That's not
rules.
what he said.
No,
That's not
no,
what-
come on.
That's not
Y'all-
what he said, right?
No, what I'm saying is this. When you sit up there and you saw all those things that you adored about Diddy, and then you saw that video, if your mind didn't change, then something's wrong with you.
Oh,
What,
some
that
is-
video?
some
No,
wrong.
the
Oh,
Cassie video.
Oh, the Cassie video. No,
Oh,
for
the
sure.
Cassie video.
Cassie
yeah.
video.
For sure, the
Yes.
Cassie video,
Yes.
but I think that we are also demonizing a quality that you have to have in any type of success, to have any type of successful business or be successful in entertainment. You gotta have that, I get what I want. You gotta have that determination. You gotta have that gumption in you, them big balls. And I feel like it carries you to different heights that being meek sometimes don't help. Like I will be the first to say that, and y'all know me, I'm real cool, chill, laid back. I don't have an ego, but I think that has hurt me way more than it has helped me. I feel like I would be way further had I had a little bit more balls, had I had a little bit more gumption. And I look at that, and when I'm feeling down, I look at videos like that, like, yeah, get it,
So you fired up by that?
Yes,
Yeah.
that fires me up.
No, yeah, I'm fired up by it too.
That makes you feel like the sky is the limit, right?
Yeah, and I don't think that has anything to do with him being an abuser.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I react like that to certain things.
Did you see the people
So,
in that room when
no.
he hung up that phone? They was like, oh, hell.
That's
Yeah,
but
that's
that's
probably
because
nervous.
everyone's
Yeah.
built different. That was him
Well,
showing. That was him
it's
showing.
3-1 on this one. I
No,
wasn't
right.
feeling that at all, and I felt like that was the beginning of what was about to happen later on. It was a next step to the next step, because a person with all that power and influence, people are afraid to tell you no.
Ryan,
and if
you
they're
have that
afraid to
balance.
tell you no, then you're going to try to do just about anything.
No, right. You have to have balance. I think that
sure,
that is
balance.
okay. There is a time where you can, listen, I tell my clients all the time, you have to have a balance of being extremely arrogant with your self-talk, but extremely humble with people. And for him to have a team in his room, with my team, I can go off like that. I could be like, I got this publishing deal. I'm Dr. Brian. You know what it is. What? And they don't sit there like his team. They're like, we did this, we that, you doc, you. They should. They're teeing me up. I tee them up.
Them people were not teed up.
That's them.
They were scared to death. They were scared to death. And whoever was on the other end of that phone was like this. Is he still there?
That's because he doesn't have the balance, meaning he's taking that and making that his daily lifestyle. We're talking about momentarily. When something goes big, are you in your own space? Are you talking to yourself and motivating yourself? There's nothing wrong. Anyone who has a problem with you personally saying that to yourself but not to them, to me, they have an envious issue. Because if I heard you teeing yourself up and you got a big deal, I'd be in there with you like, do it, right? But the balance is you can't make that your lifestyle every day. But you can have moments like that.
Yeah, but
you
if
gotta
you
have
don't have
stuff like
somebody
that.
on your
Yeah, his
team
problem
that can
is he
tell you
does
that
that
you're
every
out of control, that you're out of hand.
And-
Everybody in my little circle, which is as small as a Cheerio, when I go too far, they're like, hey
too
man,
small.
you effing up, bro.
But you
and
know
and nobody can tell him that.
Because
his
you-
own kids can't tell him
he
that.
don't have
His
the
own
balance.
mama couldn't
You know
tell him
why?
I
that.
don't have the balance of saying there's a time for this, and like you're saying, there's a time for me to say, with these people at this time, I don't do that.
Yeah, and
that's not
also
the time
you get
for
to
it.
a point, and like those to his fault, I feel like the issue is you have nobody around you that's not on payroll. If I'm your friend, no, if everybody is getting paid by you, they want to, soothe you and do whatever you say,
So
whatever he
true.
wants, because I just want
Right.
the checks to clear. Even his kids, they live a different lifestyle than normal people kids because of who their daddy is. So I feel like you have to have, no matter where you are, you have
like
to have
that.
genuine friends
I like that,
who
Brittany.
care about you.
It doesn't.
The
It doesn't
counsel.
happen like
I
that.
like
we
that,
have,
Brittany.
You
we
have
have
to keep
seen
a
that
counsel.
over and over again. You saw it with Michael Jackson. Once Michael Jackson started taking propofol and he started getting that man to come in there and put him to sleep, nobody could say, "Yo, man."
Because the
But the
doctors
same
was
thing
on
happened with Prince.
payroll.
Once Prince had that hip operation
Payroll.
and he started taking those drugs, and all of a sudden, when he was going to go on that elevator and he was going to get rehab, but he died in that same elevator that he talked about in those songs. Once you get so much power that people are afraid to tell you no, it ends up in sociology. They always talk about facilitating your own demise, where something that you do brings about your death because of something that you go out of control, and nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop Michael Jackson, nobody can stop Prince, and nobody can stop Diddy but the feds.
Listen, because they were all being paid. If you have genuine friends that have known you since day one, that genuinely love you, that genuinely care about you, I know Willie Ryan and Dr. Cheyenne Bryan are gonna call me up and say, listen, Bree, that ain't cool. Listen, Bree, you need to chill out. Don't do that. Sis, I'm praying for you. Y'all gonna check me on it because I'm not paying y'all to be my friends.
100%.
And I think once you get to a certain level when you only got people around that you paying,
I like
of
that,
course
Bree.
they gonna
Which is
be
what
your
I'm
yes
saying the whole
man.
entire
I like
time.
Yeah,
that.
the doctors were being paid.
That's right.
They were on payroll.
Yep.
Hey,
That's good, Bree.
Here go the thing. We done started yelling.
That's
I
okay,
feel a
we
yell.
here.
It's like first take.
Listen,
Yes, right,
it got a little too
yes.
fiery just then.
Yes.
But I do want everybody to know that there's always warning before destruction.
Yeah.
And pride always comes
Before the
before a
fall.
fall, right? And so what I've noticed, being in these close circles, because some people don't fall to death, but they will go to jail, they will lose their money, they will lose their family, their children do certain things. But God is always giving a warning before destruction. The question becomes, are you willing to heed it?
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's been some warnings with you. We've talked offline about some things. You're like, I don't think I want to do that no more. Warning, if you move past it, then it's going to spiral out of control. The one thing I know about sin, that if you open up a crack, it's going to take the whole door. And so that's what I see with people in this industry. I'll be honest. I remember when I signed with Warner Brothers, and by this time I'm married, but they still want me to sing Lay Your Body Down. I do this song called Touching It, but in order for me to go into the booth to be this sexual guy that they have signed, I gotta get high. I gotta get drunk. And I gotta get high, and I gotta get drunk. And then the thing was, I had a choice. I'm like, yo, like I'm not gonna be the person who's gonna destroy myself because I'm no longer living in that particular space. And a lot of people get that fork in the road. Some take heed, and others just seem to keep going down the road.
Right, but I want to say this, when you're dealing with people who have narcissistic or historian disorder, they don't care about what y'all talking about. They're not sitting there going, I'm gonna be arrogant to my demise. Power, destruction is a part of what comes with that disorder. Meaning, even with Diddy in jail, is it affecting him? Yes. But is he in there going, oh my God, me slamming the phone and being narcissistic? No, he's in there still thinking he's that dude who's grandiose and can't be touched. This is a disorder that goes with them with no balance. Meaning this is who they are all the time. They're not doing it like Bree and we were saying as a celebratory act. This is who they are when they wake up to their demise at night. So they're not worried. Some people don't want to be checked. They don't want to be told. They don't want to come off that high. Some people live there. That's their thing.
Do you think that that's a mama thing, like a raising
No,
you, or is that
mama
mental?
thing.
Like,
That ain't no mama
should you
thing.
have gotten whooped a little bit more?
No, that wouldn't
No, because
have changed
let
it.
me
That
say
probably
this.
what got it.
No,
Hold
because
on, let me say this, y'all, because y'all, do you know about this Diddy case? You might not know. You might not know. So we're going to go right back to them, but I want to, just in case you've been under a rock, because sometimes we just falsely believe that you know everything about the Diddy case. Let me catch you up just on a minute on what this is all about. So Diddy it ain't about just the baby oil and the freak off. That's what they put on Instagram. I know that's not what you've seen, but in November 2023, Diddy was sued by Cassie, his former girlfriend, for $30 million. Now, rather than settle before it hit the press, Diddy settled the next day after it went public and viral, and it was on the Shade Room and everywhere else. And then they put this video out. What we seen live and in living color, what emerged back in those days when he was with Cassie. In May 2024, he kicked Cassie at the hotel, and we all find out. More than 24 people. Right after that, they filed civil lawsuits against him. It was like a slope just running down. The rapper accusing him of everything from drugging, assaulting, raping, and Lord knows what else. And it just spiraled out of control, and it changed public perfection.
The criminal indictment alleges that between 2008 and now, Combs abused women and men and led a racketeering conspiracy that engaged in sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, among other crimes.
Listen, y'all, he's currently in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, one of the worst prisons in America, awaiting trial on criminal charges like count 1, racketeering, conspiracy, count 2, y'all, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution. If Diddy's convicted, he faces a sentence of anywhere from 15 years to life in prison.
Yeah, this all unraveled when he chose not to settle with Cassie the first time that she offered it. That had to be the dumbest legal decision he probably ever made. And like you said, Ryan, it goes kind of back to like that, or that narcissistic, like you were talking about, Dr. B, because everything Cassie said in her lawsuit against him was not only true, but verifiable on camera, y'all. Why wouldn't he just avoid settling and avoid opening Pandora's box? We don't know, but literally he knew he did that and a whole bunch of other stuff. So does it go back to, like, I think it goes back to, like you were saying, that I think I'm above everything mentality.
I'm so superior, I'm above the law. I am God himself. No one can tell me anything, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
I think we saw it, I mean, when the first thing happened, to what Willie was saying about you learn a lesson. If you go way back to the history of what happened when those people got trampled at that basketball game, right? And when people got killed, it was a celebrity basketball game, and he was a sponsor of that. Then you fast forward to what happened with J-Lo in the nightclub with Shine, and somebody gets shot, and he escapes that as well. And now you get to this where you get all this invincibility, syndrome, where you feel like nothing can touch you, nothing can stop you, and he can get away with anything. So he felt, so I think that is one thing that basically, like they say, the chickens have come home to roost.
Wow.
Now check out this video.
Hardest hustler in the world. This is Savage Part 2. Don't tell me about shit. It's 2022 and I'm still a savage. Whatever I want, I get whenever
He's not just turning up for TV. I mean, it's like that Halloween costume when he was the Joker. People saying usually when you go to Halloween, you turn into the person that you want to be. And they was like, in Halloween, that was really him.
That was
Now
really
that one was a little scary.
That was
Oh no, that's the same one. You ain't You not motivated? You ain't ready to go out there and conquer the world?
It was
No,
am ready to
it's
conquer
a
the world,
spirit
but
on that one.
Yeah, it
That
wasn't-
one,
come on. I
that was
feel
the
it.
spirit
We
on
felt that one in our
Yeah.
sha-na-na.
It's
We
the
felt
same
that
man.
spirit.
Yo, and he rode up on that guy outside the club, too.
All right, we got more. It's the same person. All right, we got more when we come back.
Oh,
the
my
same
God.
person, same video, same. Keep that same energy on Truth Talks when we come back.
Different situation, very different.
Too much.
So different.
Very different.
That spirit that grew up on us.
Yeah.
And we are back on True Talks, and it's all about Diddy right now. If you don't know what's going on with the case, there's lots of things to unravel.
Now, I don't know how you feel about this, and to be honest, I don't even know what it's all about. But we're hearing about over 1,000 razor blades being confiscated and the bloody sheets at the party. Now, we're hearing about doors being locked from the inside out so people couldn't leave. Take a look.
Okay. Now, we need alcohols.
Right,
Alcohols.
right. Not just one alcohol.
Alcohols.
Right, just a different
Plurals.
blend. You need the
Blends.
ladies, you need the booze.
You need some water.
For watering plants? What?
No, I don't know if guys have noticed this. Like, a lot of ladies drink water at parties. They
Right.
just, so if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave.
Right,
Gotta
right.
keep them there.
Right.
You need locks on the doors.
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
It's a little kinky, but
Yeah.
rock with me. But just
Right.
check it out. You need a lot of heat. A lot of
Heat.
heat. Yeah.
Heat. You mean that physically the place has to be hot?
You don't have no air conditioning.
No air conditioning.
No.
Why is that?
Heat affects the alcohol, and it also affects, like, everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and loose. Builds up a nice little sweat.
That just sounds disgusting. What are you talking?
Depends on the way you look at it.
Depends. Oh, people
Yeah.
start getting gets kind of sexy. Is that what you're saying?
There you, sexy. New word for you.
Yeah.
That's
Damn, Diddy. He was hiding in plain sight. And he wasn't even alone.
Yeah, I don't know, y'all. I don't get what was sexy about the razor blades. Like, what is sexual?
That man said you need a locked door.
He said lock the doors. Don't take me nowhere where they locking the doors for sure.
He said he need alcohols with an S.
Okay, no, alcohol with an S is what you need for a party. And you do need water. But I don't know about the locked doors and the razor blades. That's just too freaky for me. What y'all doing with razor blades? What are you cutting? Cake?
What's the razor
Can we get a
blade?
cut to my face?
What's the razor blades for?
Did not tell y'all. It's the same person. It's the same person y'all was just cheering. Whoa.
I
It's the same
separate the
person.
man from the
It's the
artist.
same person.
I separated.
Same person.
Right, but the fact
separated.
that he knew the science that the heat would make the intoxication of the alcohol and the drugs intensify, that's crazy as HELLLL. Like,
Damn, Diddy.
turn the heat up so that they can become more intoxicated.
Well, I don't
Wow.
think that one.
I think that's bananas.
That
to
didn't
me.
shock me because
That's
working in
intentional,
clubs,
though.
but working in clubs, they always say keep the air condition real high so you can make
Drink
people
more.
drink more so
Yeah.
they can warm up. So I feel
And
I
he
heard
said
that before.
turn
But
the air off.
allegedly, they
Yeah.
said they were also using horse tranquilizers.
Now, what are you
now,
doing with that?
How do you even concoct that? We need something that's gonna knock out a horse.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild. It's sick and sad, and I just send love and prayers out to everybody that was probably walked into those parties thinking that it was just a good time, or because you hear about, even growing up, I heard about the Diddy parties like, oh, it's so lit, it's so fun. That's where you meet all the who's who. So it's so many girls or even young men that probably entered those parties thinking that they were going to network or mingle or maybe meet the next somebody that they needed to know to advance their career, and then to unfortunately be locked in and not be allowed to leave, and then to hit with tranquilizers and razor blades, like the trauma that they must have endured from that. I'm praying for y'all and y'all
Yeah,
heal
that's
it.
Doc, do you
lot.
think that
That's a lot.
people are not going to come out because of what Bree just said? Because of, like they were saying, when the 1,000 bottles of baby oil came out at first, people was like, wow, that's freaky. But then it came out allegedly that the horse tranquilizer was being put into the baby oil, and you were getting, rubbed on and rubbed up, and then all of a sudden became incapacitated. So if something like that would have happened to some people, would that make them more reluctant to not come out and be a part of all these lawsuits?
Yeah, but in addition to that, most victims don't want to relive their trauma.
Yeah.
And so most victims are like, if I speak, I have to talk about it. I have to be in court and talk about it. I have to be interrogated about it. And I have to stand on it.
a million times.
Yeah, period.
Yeah, you don't want to continuously ask about it. Like you said, they don't want to always have to be the spokesperson for the trauma either.
All right, so coming up, we'll take a look at life behind bars for Diddy. We've been hearing about witness intimidation to other inmates making his prison bed. We got it all right here on Truth Talks when we come back.
Yep, stick with us.
What the raise was for?
And we're back on True Talks. We're discussing the Diddy saga. We all heard the call with him and his kids where he said, "I'll see you soon." Clearly, they all thought he was getting out, but you need to take a listen. But to go further, all his calls, which reportedly, were kind of like leading to intimidating witnesses, having them being recorded.
Right.
And of course, I mean, y'all know y'all give me trauma, but I watch Law and Order. And anything you see in jail, you know they gonna record that call and it's gonna come back. They always say that. Now, they're saying that, he's using that time to intimidate witnesses. Dr. B, you said previously that Diddy is truly struggling mentally while in prison, even though reports are that other inmates are basically worshiping him and they arguing over who's gonna make his bed. From personal insiders that he's been suicidal. What's your take on all of this?
Yeah, well, I don't know if y'all seen it, but when Diddy, when the judge said what his sentence would be, he collapsed in court, fell out in court. That's not someone who's mentally doing okay, like literally fell out. And so, yeah, of course he's getting all this love and he's being catered to in prison, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that his mental health is sustainable. He's totally losing it. You got a man who believes he's God. He's grandioso. He's the king. He runs this. He is that of everything in prison being catered to, but he's also compartmentalized in a box. So he doesn't have the freedom he's used to having. And when you're talking about someone who's narcissistic, remember, their ability to manipulate and their ability to have mind control and physical control over people is what thrives him. He is not able to have all the full control capacity that he needs to really feed his narcissism and feed his grandioso. Period. He still has to listen to guards in there. He still has rules and regulations.
Yeah. Considering that this case is becoming, like, honestly, when it first started, before we seen the video, I thought, it's just just another one of those things that's gonna pass as big money grab. But when you seen that, I believe in all of my heart that this is not gonna be good. I think that he's not gonna get out of jail, and I think for a black man to be in jail for this long and the level of freedom, I would have to agree with her to say that I know this is tough. But the bigger thing is you got to know that they can imprison your body, but you can't allow them to imprison your mind. So I think the bigger issue is, like, he has to start thinking forward and just saying, okay, cool, this is my reality. And once you get the opportunity to know that this is your reality, you have the room to adjust. And so if he could start pouring into his kids and giving, like, of course you want to keep the faith, but when you look at these counts, man, we know what it looked like when they about to get you and it's about to be over.
Yeah, recently a federal judge ordered prosecutors to destroy copies of notes taken by Diddy in his Brooklyn jail cell. Diddy's attorneys argue that the seizure of the notes violated attorney-client privilege. Is it possible for him to get a fair trial considering his status? He's been denied bail a few times, and I feel like that is a sign.
Well, I mean, I watch Law and Order.
What
and you always know when they shake down the cell, whatever's in the cell could be considered contraband, and that was going to happen. I mean, if he is making phone calls, like, and he's got these notes, I'd say it was 19 pages of notes that he had in there, and they rated it. The problem is they turned it over to the prosecutors. They didn't just seize the papers, they turned it over, and that's why they're saying he may not be able to get a fair trial.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get a fair trial anyway. I mean, have y'all been black in America? I don't feel like any black people get fair trials in America. I just don't think, especially at his status and with the people that are allegedly involved on them tapes, they're going to do whatever they can to bring this man down.
Well, that's one thing that people keep talking about. about is why haven't any of these people, not one person has gone on record that was signed to Bad Boy, that was signed to the label, and not, no offense to Q, but nobody's come out and said he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Not one person.
Yeah.
Not one person has said that.
Yeah,
Why not?
It's the
Because
same
it was
thing.
a video we saw him.
No, not about Cassie, but about all the other 120 people who come out and said he did these things to me.
Man, everybody knew what happened to R. Kelly, and everybody knew. Like, you was in the industry during that time, and you was like, well, you ain't get found guilty, but you already kind of knew. And some people just turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah.
When people are doing these same things for so long, you just kind of like, I heard about it, but I didn't really dig in it. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I mean, the truth is, ain't nobody coming out saying it, but it was, I think Stevie J, he came out and was like, come on, he didn't do that. And then, of course, I think they found the tape on him, so we're just praying.
Yeah. But I think
praying.
based on Suge Knight's sentence, based on R. Kelly's sentence, this Diddy's on the same level as him, not in his mind, but
Right.
in reality he is. I just see him doing life in prison like they are. If
Yeah.
you look at Suge Knight's health has completely depreciated from just being in there. That's another man who, and Suge Knight again, is a good friend of mine. However, he's another man who's used to having that freedom, shot calling. And not that he's not shot calling in prison, but he's in a box and he's not able to fully be in his full capacity of who he is.
Yeah, I mean, we got more. We're going to keep the conversation going, but to your point, it just shows you the power of video in today's society. The video of Suge and what he allegedly did, the video of Ray Rice where nobody knew what was going to happen. Then they saw how he knocked that woman out in that elevator.
Yep.
The video of Cassie, and unfortunately the video of George Floyd. If nobody had been having these videos, we might not be having these conversations because it'll be he said against she said. And that's one of the biggest things in this.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is Cassie couldn't prosecute for that video because you know the statute of limitation had passed. So technically that video was shown, but she wasn't able to use that in the court of law or prosecute or civil court, none of that. Statute of limitation had passed, yeah.
All right, so what if he's found guilty? That's coming up next on True Talks. That's it, y'all.
Okay, good.
We got extra talk. We got extra talk.